next speaker is Maggie Odewaldt. She is from Washington, Illinois. And she is in her sophomore year at ICC, and she's majoring in music education. So welcome, Maggie. Come on up.
Hi, guys. How's everyone doing today? That's a great response. Thanks. Okay, so now that I've got you all riled up, I'm going to ask you some questions. I know, you're all like, I got out of class and now I got to answer questions. Okay, so by a show of hands, how many of you have ever been told to use your words wisely or to think before you speak? I know, I sound like your mother right now, don't I? Okay, so most of us raised our hands, which is great. But have you ever actually taken the time to do so? Have you ever really stopped to think about the way that you approach a situation with your words? Now, many of us have been in this kind of situation before. We've said something to another person and it did not come out the way that we expected it to. It's not always a fun place to be, is it? Usually that other person gets angry or even upset. See, we forget how powerful our words can be. Simply by changing a single word in a story can make the whole feel of it different. Let's consider this for a second. You hear a story about a woman who has been sexually assaulted. Now, some news sources might call her a survivor, and some news sources might call her a victim. So tell me, who would you feel sorrier for? A survivor or a victim? You see, survivors are usually treated like heroes who have overcome great obstacles. And victims, on the other hand, are often treated with pity or shame. Although by laws of reason, aren't the two practically the same thing? But labels create an even bigger problem than this. We've all heard labels applied to certain groups of people in order to separate them from the norms of society. Walking down the street, I can hear 4 different names for a group of African American individuals, 3 for the homosexual community, and 2 for single mothers just trying to pay their rent. These names are designed to separate one person from the next, but not always in a positive way. These names start out as derogatory slurs used to shame a minority. But over time, they've become the driving force behind some of the biggest movements in the world. When we think about some of the words that make up this urban dictionary of classifications, what or who do you picture? Does it align with the definition, or does it mean something else entirely? What I'm getting at here is that simple words are being taken from the dictionary and used to tear down communities of people. If I walked up to a person on the street today and asked, "What's a faggot?" Don't we all know exactly what they would say? But did you know that next to the word faggot in a dictionary, it does not say a homosexual male? No. A faggot is a bundle of sticks or iron. You see, it's so easy to turn an innocent word or group of words into an act of manipulation. In the mid-70s, Elizabeth Loftus performed a series of experiments showcasing how eyewitness testimonies can often be misled. The one case study says that subjects were shown a slide of a car at an intersection with either a stop sign or a yield sign. Experimenters then asked participants questions, falsely introducing the term stop sign into questions referring to the participants who had actually seen the yield sign. Similarly, experimenters falsely substituted the term stop sign, yield sign, in place of questions where participants had seen a stop sign slide. So in the end, the subjects claimed to have remembered seeing the false image, all because of a simple word change. Believe it or not, this is the same exact thing that happened in Germany during World War II. You see, many people ask questions like, how could the whole German populace claim ignorance over the slaughter of the Jewish people? This happens the same exact way that those investigators made you think you saw a stop sign instead of a yield sign. You see, when Hitler came to power, Germany was down on their luck. All it took was a charismatic speaker telling people what they wanted to hear to feel good about themselves. This started a series of events that ended with World War II and the Holocaust. Words truly have an incredible power over the human mind. In fact, let's think about this. Have you ever noticed that when you wake up in a bad mood, the rest of your day turns out pretty crappy as well? Yeah, well, there's actually some science behind that. You see, when you hear or think a negative word, such as the word no, then your amygdala, which is the fear center of your brain, releases dozens of stress-producing hormones and neurotransmitters, which interrupts the brain's ability to think with logic and reasoning. And by the same token, if you think words of encouragement, there are obvious chemical changes in the pleasure center of the brain. So really, all it takes is the right word in the wrong or the right spot to really make or ruin your entire day. How incredible is that? I can't be the only one who thinks that. Over time, these words, they eat at us. And after all, isn't this what therapists do? I mean, they use the right words to convince people that their lives are worth living. Words can heal the mind just as much as they can harm it. So, what would our world be like if we chose our words wisely, or if we thought before we spoke and made that effort? You see, using our words alone, we can drive up-and-coming generations. People have this amazing potential to influence the world, the future, and everyone around them. Parents? Do I have parents in here? I can't be the only one. Parents, make sure you use good words when talking to and teaching your children. And teachers, make sure you set a good example with your words for your students. Even those of you who aren't directly responsible for others, realize that you have the potential to radically affect other human beings anyway, simply in the things that you say to or around them. Everyone has this amazing power of words, but very few people truly think about their consequences before speaking. Psalms 12:18 says, "Thoughtless words can wound as deeply as any sword, but wisely spoken words can heal." Thank you.